Awesome. All right, so welcome to Getting to Know Muscle Tuners International today. I'm going to start with a few housekeeping items. First, I want to welcome Denise Cambiotti for coming to join us and sharing more about her business. Thank you, Denise. And I'm your host for today, Michelle Greenwell. I'm the current president of CanBeWell. Before we begin today, I wanted to open with land acknowledgement and introduction of who is here today. So I'd like to begin by acknowledging the Indigenous peoples of all the lands that we're on today. While we meet today on a virtual platform, let us take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the lands which we each call home. And we do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relationships between nations and to educate our own understanding of the local Indigenous people and their cultures. So what I would love for you to do is in the chat, if you'd put your name, the Indigenous land you reside upon, and then how many generations your family might have been present on this land. All right, so each of us was attempting to put our comments into the chat. So Evelyn Mulders is in the Okanagan, and she's got 7 family members on the land. How many generations has your family been there, Evelyn? I'll wait for her to come back to that. All right. So she's 1 generation. And then Helga landed herself 20 years ago. So 1st generation. And I'm actually originally from Mi'kma'ki and Maliseet people, which would be in Mabu, Cape Breton, and I'd be a 4th generation Canadian. But at the moment, I'm sitting in West Bank First Nation, so it was interesting. I didn't realize there were 3 interior nations, of which I could not pronounce what they were, but Seal, I think is 1. So that was a good lesson for me. And Denise is 2nd generation on Coquitlam First Nation. Interesting spelling for that. Awesome. Okay, it's always interesting what it'll pull us to do. So thank you for sharing that piece. And what I recommend is just for you to choose some kind of way to calm or bring balance and flow to what we're doing at the moment. And I know each of you has your tool. If you'd like to cross the hands over the front of the chest and just do the Sea of Tranquility, I would recommend that. And then just take a couple deep breaths to just bring balance and flow to the idea of where we sit and the beautiful land we're on. And despite the cold temperatures and the challenges, it's a beautiful country. Beautiful. Awesome. So our intention today is to provide a platform for our partner organizations to be highlighted within our membership. And as avid members of CanBeWell, we all play a vital role in developing and sharing the power of the courses, the publications, the tools, the techniques that our partner organizations bring to CanBeWell and provide to Canadians and beyond. So we're going to start this process for 2024 with introducing Denise as the CEO of Muscle Tuners International. And we did do a webinar in June of 2020 where you may have recognized Denise's name because at that time we were closer to when you were office administrator for what was then CanAsk, and you spent 12 years in that role. She currently is supporting the Social Media Rally program, which is operating today. So it's the 3rd Tuesday of each month. And also Denise works with our membership, helping to reach out to our members 1 phone call at a time, which is amazing. So Denise, first of all, on behalf of CanBeWell, thank you so much for the contributions that you continue to make personally as well as in the business.
Oh, thanks. It's great to have the opportunity in a group to belong to.
So our approach today is to have a dialogue of sharing, We encourage those on the call to keep the cameras on, but stay muted. And we're recording, and we'll be providing the recording back in our February newsletter, as well as in the video list. And I thought a lot of people might not know this, but on the website, when you log into your part of the website, your dashboard, there is something that says news. And in there is all the newsletters that have been archived digitally. But there's also a list at the very top, which is the videos that have been done for members only. And there is quite a list there. I think there's almost 20 videos. So this is going to be a part of that, but I wanted people to know that that's available. So let's get started and move forward. So Denise, let's begin by getting to know you first. So can you share some background in the training that you have, the experience that you've gathered, and then the types of people that you work with?
Okay. So long time ago in northern Alberta, I had a really sore neck, which drove me to go find a chiropractor who turned out he did this muscle testing thing. But before he saw me, his receptionist did what I now recognize as a 14 muscle assessment from Touch for Health. And I'm going, what? Because this arm is strong, this arm isn't. We don't use the word strong and weak anymore. But it was very curious. And then he did his chiropractic kind of thing. He looked at me, he says, everything's connected. Your headache, your neck pain, your constipation, on recurring bladder infections is what I was going through in my life way back then. And I'm going, you're crazy, because so was my introduction to the world of natural healing. Anyways, I felt like $1 million when I walked out of his office. Headaches were gone. Never had to take another pain pill, and I had been taking them for over a year, multiple times a day. My digestion improved. I was no longer constipated. I turned into quite the proponent of, do you know how great chiropractic is? And, now I know why my mother wanted to know if I pooped every day, because you feel a heck of a lot better. Recurring bladder infections went away for about 15 or 20 years. Until I think I hurt my tailbone or something, and then they came back. And I knew to go find a chiropractor who could adjust the tailbone non-invasively, and all fixed. So that's why I do the work what I did, because it grabbed me. And I remember thinking, this is what I want to do when I grow up. But I was about 28 at the time, which was, when I was young, everybody says, what do you want to be? And the choices were a secretary, a nurse, a librarian, or a teacher. Those were pretty much the top 4 things that I knew in my experience, my limited experience being out in the world. And it turns out now I do kind of a little bit of all 4 of those in my work. So you said what I do, why I do, and the types of people I see in my clinic. I see people like today, a woman came in. She's been saving her money to come see me. I haven't seen her for 4 years. I love structural work. And I've recognized I do pretty darn good job of clearing emotional stress. And that's what she came in for today. The client before that was a phone session just to check in, because she's got things she knows irritating her system. So I'm connecting it's called surrogacy. And I'm checking to see what's in her diet right now that's causing her the inflammation. So I'm a generalist. I've taken training, pretty high level training, to work with neurology, so I can work with things like stroke. And it's a lot of work, man, when you get to that level, because you're not just supporting the client, you're supporting the whole family. So my practice is very interesting. I never get bored. And the students I attract are people who, let's put it this way, they basically want to go into a little bit of the world of woo, because they realize they're not getting the results they need from the regular medical approach, the regular Western approach, which I'm extremely grateful for. I got to experience that model 1.5 years ago. So glad that they exist. But when they can't put their finger on the issue, what do? So those are a lot of the students that come to see me. They've got a physical issue. They decide they're going to take a class, and they're going to help fix themselves or help fix people in their family. And everybody on the call so far, you're all teachers yourselves. And would you agree? Can I see some head nods? That's probably what attracts a lot of people to you as a teacher. So if you have anything to share in the world, and doesn't have to be the modality I practice. Please share it. There are people that are seeking people like you. Did I miss answering anything there for you?
No, that's great. That's perfect. Do you want to
The
talk now
reason
a
I'm
little bit?
showing up is literally to inspire the people who are going to listen to this call to do the best they can with the tools they have available, inspire them maybe to take even more learning, and to inspire them to just have confidence in whatever they do is good enough. And I remember the first difficult person who had just come out of the hospital, and I figured every system would be out of play. She only had one meridian that was out of balance. I fixed one muscle and I felt like a failure. It took her a lot of effort to get in the car, come over to my place. A friend drove her and basically almost carried her up to my kitchen, sat down at the kitchen table. Again, I worked through my friend as a surrogate, who then, this woman was so weak, my friend had to put a hand on her shoulder, and I found only one muscle that was out of balance. And I thought I was doing it wrong. And 3 days later, in the schoolyard, because our kids were at elementary school, she charged up to me face to face to face, like this close to my face, and said, "What the hell did you do?" And I felt, was like, "I don't know. What did I do wrong? Like, what's wrong?" And she says, "Well, after I saw you, I went home and I had a nap. Next day I got up and I just, been powering through my day. And about 4 o'clock when the kids come home from school, I just sit in, in the sofa in the family room as they're getting ready to go off to their events." And she says, "I've been doing that for the last 3 days." And I'm going, "Yes, so what?" And she says, "You don't understand. I was sleeping 18 hours a day before. And the 6 hours I was awake, I was good for nothing." She says, "What did you do?" So that gave me the desire to go find my level 2 teacher in Touch for Health and my level 3. And then I ran into somebody who said, you need to do more of this. And I got dragged kind of a little bit kicking and screaming to take more and more and more courses. And it wasn't too hard. I like going down that rabbit hole. So I want to inspire people watching this that even if you don't become an instructor, you are mentoring people that you touch in your lives. What I do is I am a founder of Muscle Tuners International. And what I do is I focus on training body therapists in a system that it's a fusion of Eastern and Western approaches. And the whole point of doing that is to help them understand that they can have one foot firmly in science and one foot firmly in the energy healing domain, that they do marry. There's a beautiful connection in my training, and I know that you ladies all know about Touch for Health. And with Muscle Tuners, we just came up with a couple of proprietary approaches that deals with not just under energy in the body and kind of mop things up with the over energy states later, but to literally go in system by system by system and say, are you under energized? Are you over energized? And we have a wonderful correction that no matter what state you find the meridian and the muscle in, that it clears it. It readjusts the electrical flow. So it's neither over energized or under energized. And besides that, it also fixes not just muscles, but tendons and ligaments. It fixes the fascia. It fixes the actual stress on the nervous system, the lymphatic, and the vascular systems, all with one simple correction. And people, you need to come find me at a conference someday, because I don't share that technique unless you're a customer or you're my best friend at a conference. So, is that a little fish hook for people to show up at the Touch for Health conference in April? And I saw the announcement today. I can't remember what town they're in, but I think it's in Missouri, near the Ozarks. So
Exactly. Yes.
think about showing up. I can't tell you how great it is to go somewhere where nobody in the room thinks you're weird for yanking on arms and legs all day, right?
Exactly. And you have a YouTube channel.
I do.
And so do you need help with raising awareness to subscribers?
Yes, please. On YouTube, go search Muscle Tuners International. please subscribe to my page and notice I have a few playlists that might be helpful for you and those that you know of. There's demonstrations, there's tips. I think there's a couple of recording where I was paid to do, yeah, sort of like paid to do presentations where I gave some tips. I think for upper body, lower body digestion, or I can't remember. There's been so many, but there are some really useful tips, and I hope that people going to our YouTube channel, Muscle Tuners International, will find something helpful. I also just recently found a whole bunch of videos from our mentor, Dr. Charles Krebs, who created the LEAP system. And he has a number of interviews he's done. So if you really want to geek out, you can go listen to those, along with a couple of other people I found that I'm going top notch. Let's make sure people get to see them too.
Perfect. Excellent. And I wanted to ask what your theme was for 2024.
Oh, yeah, everybody's looking for that word, right? It's been the thing going around, and I'm just going vitality. This year is going to be the year of vitality. What's possible when there's more vitality?
Beautiful. And are you doing engagements where you're speaking, where some of the people who are listening to this webinar would be able to say, Denise might be the right person to come in to speak to my group of people that does whatever? What kind of speaking engagements have you been doing?
I have done a number of targeted themed presentations. Some of the more memorable ones have been about digestion, about pain, about vitality. Those are usually some of the top three, but whatever the group is that you have, there's something I have already prepackaged on the shelf, probably, or just with a few tweaks, I can make a presentation for a group. I'm very comfortable in supporting the topic of whomever is working in the health field. And thank you for that. Yeah, I'm totally open to giving talks.
You work there's my thought. You're doing writing, helping to share the word about the kinds of techniques that we do. Where can people find what you've been writing?
I just started a commitment to write twice a week on medium.com. And if anybody doesn't know what Medium is, what a rabbit hole is that? I love it because there's all these categories, and I've followed a few people, and I absolutely love the writings of some of the people on there. And if I see they've posted something, I'm in there and I want to read it because they've got good stuff. They're quality articles. They're usually between 2 to 10 minutes on the outside to read. Most of them are about 4 minute read. There's a daily digest, and I just go, let me see what's in the digest today. And I pick 3 or 4 of those articles. I learn a lot. And now I'm also on the platform as an author. So thank you for asking about that. I had no idea what pleasure I would get being on the medium.com platform and the quality of writing that is there. There's a subject in the world that somebody's into, there's a department for that somewhere in there.
Excellent. Is there anything anybody else has thought of with the questions I've asked? Nope.
I will add to on medium.com, don't look for me under my name, Denise Cambiotti. Mostly everything that I do is branded on the company. It's either Muscle Tuners or Muscle Tuners International.
Okay, that's good.